how's everyone doing today? It's Riz coming to you from Van Buren, Michigan, where in 2017, a very vibrant and beautiful 27-year-old woman was murdered in her own home. Now, family and friends and authorities believe at first that it was by somebody she knew. But was it? Let's take a look. So I've decided to do some of this story at a park nearby because when I rode by the house, there was people coming out and they were out getting something from the car, and I don't want to walk by with a camera and make them feel uncomfortable. So I'll tell the rest of the story here at the park, and I will go by the house and get a shot of the house in a little bit here. But to tell the story, Egypt Covington was 27 years old in 2017. According to her family, she had a larger-than-life personality. She would light up a room. She was an extrovert. She worked as a barmaid at a bar. So she had, she was one of those people that just loved people. She was a dog mom. She had a little dog named Ruby. Now, she had been dating a man by the name of Curtis Meadows for the better part of a decade or so. And they were on and off again. Their schedules really didn't mesh as far as having a relationship. Curtis was more of a 9-to-5 guy. He had a young daughter at the time, and she was a barmaid, so when she was coming home from work, he was leaving. And and they did take breaks on and off, but even when they were apart, they still thought about each other all the time and wanted to be together. Well, they eventually decide to get back together after Egypt takes the job as a beverage distributor. This would give her more time to spend with him and his daughter, and it would they'd kind of be on the same schedule. Well, they decided also to take the next step where Curtis was going to move in with Egypt. Then on 2 weeks before that, on the night of June 23rd, 2017, they texted each other good night like they always did. Then the next morning, Curtis texts her and says, "Good morning." No response. Texts her again, no response. So he tries calling her. No response. He calls her several more times, and he's starting to get worried. So he decides to drive over to her house. And when he arrives, her car's in the driveway. So that was already off. He was immediately worried. So he goes to the front door, and the door is open. He goes in and sees Ruby, her dog, standing there, but the dog wasn't her normal self. She wasn't all happy and giddy and happy to see him like she usually was. Well, Ruby starts to walk back a little bit and leads Curtis to Egypt's body. She was found with her hands bound behind her back with Christmas lights, and she had been shot in the back of the head. So Curtis calls 911. Police come out, start an immediate investigation.
911.
I just showed up at my girlfriend's house. We're at 45576. I think it's just Bemis. And I walked inside. She's there, tied up. She's dead. There's blood around her head. There's flies. She's dead.
You said 45576 Bemis?
6. Yes, by the Clarksville gas station.
And you're sure she's dead?
Yes. She's tied up. There's lights. Oh my God.
Okay, don't. Okay, hold on.
No, the door was left crack open.
Okay.
She lives in a duplex. I'm knocking on the neighbor's door. I don't know if they're not there. I don't know.
Now, Curtis is a suspect at this point, of course, as they always suspect, the spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend first. And at first, they believe that this is by somebody that she knew. because there was no forced entry, no struggle that they could see, and nothing was missing. So after digging a little bit, they decide to talk to a man named Kenny, who Egypt had been dating on and off between her breaks with Curtis. And it's been said by some friends that he was kind of controlling of her and would verbally abuse her. However, I don't think there was any substantial evidence of that, so I'm not sure really if that was the case or not. But when she had told him that she was going to break it off with him and Curtis was going to move in, he did not take it well. Very angry. And there was actually a large and loud verbal altercation between the two a week before she passed away at some social function. And during this time, he also seemed to show up wherever she was. And they thought maybe that he had put some type of tracking device on her car. So Egypt's family was scared for her at this point. However, her mom, Tina, did not believe that Kenny had anything to do with her murder and did not really believe that he abused her in any way. So no charges were filed against Kenny, and the case kind of fell by the wayside for a couple years. The family started to push, family and friends that is, started to push harder. They wanted the case to go to the Michigan State Department. And after the state police got involved, about a year later, they had suspects and arrests. Shane Evans and Timothy Moore were arrested in November of 2020, and Shandon Groom was arrested in December of 2020. So now Egypt lived in a duplex, okay, side-by-side apartments. She was friends with her neighbor, so they would leave the door unlocked so they could go back and forth a little bit. And the neighbor was actually a licensed caregiver and had kept marijuana plants in his house. Now, this house had been burglarized before, where pot was stolen from his house. Now, she would often attend music festivals with this neighbor. However, she sat this one out because she was getting her home ready for Curtis to move in, and she had just started her job at the beverage distribution company. So what's the connection here? Well, there's no connection directly between these three suspects and Egypt Covington. How it came about was Shane Evans used to do yard work on the property, and he knew about all the pot and the weed that was being kept in this house. So one night, him and his brother and his cousin are out, and they decide they want to score some weed. So he tells them about this house. So they jump in their cars, 2 different cars. Shane Evans was in the front car, and his cousin and brother were in the car behind them. And he points the house out, and he says, right side. And soon after that, the two go in there, only they don't go to the right side. They go in the left side, where 27-year-old Egypt Covington was watching a movie, minding her own business. And, well, you know what happens from there. Now, according to testimony, Shane Evans didn't want anything to do with the actual robbery itself. He just pointed the car out, or pointed the house out, rather. And his cousin and brother went in to commit the robbery. I'm sure they were surprised to see Egypt in the house. Now, why they didn't just run out and take off was beyond me. Even if they were found, they probably would have been out of jail by now, or maybe had like a probation type sentence. But after the murder, Moore texted and said, "Wrong door." In his response, "Oops, wrong door, oops." And that oops resulted in a 27-year-old woman's murder. So call records, GPS, put all three suspects there that night. And all three were charged with murder, home invasion, and a few other charges. Timothy Moore received 20 to 55 years. Shandon Groom received 17 to 26 years. And Shane Evans received 15 to 25 years. Now, there was also a fourth suspect. However, police say he was shot and killed sometime after the crime. So how are these three caught? Well, I didn't see a definitive answer on that. All I could make out was maybe it was geofencing. What is geofencing, you ask? Check this out.
Let's give a hypothetical situation, say a string of strong-armed robberies. Police know it's the same suspect and method, but they don't know who that person is.
You could do a geofence warrant to say, okay, if we know we had a robbery at this location on this date, and this location at this date, and this other location at this date, let's do a search warrant for those three locations at those three dates and times and see if there's any person that is in those three boxes on all three lists.
All right, so I've decided to end this video in my vehicle because it is absolutely freezing out here. I think it's about 10 degrees. 10 degrees. It just snowed last night. Freezing rain. It's freezing. But anyway, regarding Egypt Covington, what can I say? Just all the research I've done, the videos I've seen, just a phenomenal, phenomenal woman. She had so much going for her and was ready to start a new relationship and a new life. And she probably had a singing career that was somewhere hanging over her head, not too far.
Promise you will bring the world to its feet and move.
She was an amazing singer. I will actually add one of her songs, or a couple maybe, toward the end of this. And I'll also add the YouTube link in the comments below. So such a shame that this happened. It was, like somebody said, that she was at the wrong place in the right time. And that wrong place was her own home, where she was relaxing and enjoying a movie. And all of a sudden, these people come in the door and, that's it. Terrible story. Such a beautiful soul. I hosted karaoke for many years and DJ'd for many years. And, I think Egypt and I would have hit it off immediately, became, good friends. I would have loved to have had her at my show singing. Just what an amazing talent. She actually won Country Idol here in Michigan.
The winner of W4 Country Idol 2014, Egypt!
So there's no doubt that this young woman would have had a career in singing. She was just absolutely amazing. Just, that voice. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I wasn't able to find a gravesite for Egypt, so I believe she was probably cremated. So unfortunately, I'm not able to go pay my respects and take you with me. But either way, just check out some of her videos on YouTube and, leave some positive comments. And if you have any positive comments to add here or have heard of this story, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And please don't forget to, of course, subscribe and like and share. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time.